from 1952. We were active in the Korean War between 1951 and 1953. The Korean War is still an open war on the books in Congress in the United States. South Korea has never agreed to a ceasefire or armistice. So even though it's been 68 years and everybody says, oh, that war is over, the war is not over. There are 7,800 missing soldiers, over 7,800, somewhere in Korea. And South Korea has taken their half of the DMZ, their side of it, and made it into a tourist walking park. And I have nightmares of tourists walking over our soldiers. So, in addition, 2 days ago on TreadleOn, I asked about hand crank embroidery. And I was met with an attitude that it's impossible to do hand crank embroidery because the human brain can't have the left hand doing something separately from the right hand. To which I proved that wrong with my 1588 and hand crank embroidery. I'm not good at it yet, but it can be done, and I'm not an oddball. When you drive a car and you have a standard transmission, you have one hand on the wheel and the other hand is shifting the gears. But that whole exchange ticked me off quite a bit, and I have since left TreadleOn. I've been a part of that list for 21 years. And that kind of an attitude where people with disabilities, because it was, obviously I may have to have surgery and can't use my legs for a while. I already have a wheelchair. A lot of my quilts are wheelchair quilts for veterans. It became a whole slap against the disabled. So the 1591, my father gave it to me. It was made when we were at war in the Korean War. My father served, he was sent to occupied Germany during the Korean War. We're still at war. We have, I think, an administration now who's not doing anything to get our missing soldiers back. And this is going to be the poster child for making machines disability accessible. So I thought if I don't use my treadles for a while and I can use foot pedals, well, the foot pedals hurt too. And but at the same time, veterans sometimes come back missing an arm. So the 1591 is a poster child, and not only because my father was the one in the service, and my grandfather, and my brother, and, you know, I have a lot of family members that served. None of them came back with severe injuries, but a 1591, you can't easily remove the motor, not without dismantling the machine and converting it to something else. It's a direct drive, very powerful motor. If I put the Bishop hand crank on it, which I have videos up about that, then this machine can be used either with a foot pedal or a hand crank. And I'm in the process of converting most of my machines to hand cranks. We have to be aware of people with disabilities. Now, obviously, I'm living it in kind of a parallel to any kind of veteran. I've never been in the service. But there are all kinds of people that have disabilities. And so I just think people should, let's put it this way, 21 years on TreadleOn, promoting treadles and hand cranks, and one co-moderator ticked me off to such a point with such an attitude that disabled people are somehow stupid or unable to do two things at once that I left the list. I am still on the vintage singers list in case this machine breaks. Other than that, I've had it. I'm not going to listen anymore to people that belittle the disabled. So think about taking an electric machine and putting a Bishop Sewing Systems hand crank on it. It's probably what I'm going to do with at least 2 more of my machines. The other ones that I have are already either motor or hand crank, except for the 2 whites. They're the only 2 I can't do that with. But let's open our eyes and look around and try to make sewing available for everybody.